What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Savage Rounds with Xavier. Today for you, we've got the UFC 293 recap. It was a pretty interesting cards, a lot of stuff that surprised me, and a lot of decent finishes. There were some solid finishes, a lot of submissions. But yeah, let's get into it. I went 7-5 on the night, not my best. I felt like I got hard done by on one, and to be fair, maybe gifted one as well. The Jack Jenkins miss felt brutal just because, I don't even want to call it brutal because we were still in the first round. Anything can happen, but it felt like Jack Jenkins was into the fight. He was looking good, but he got tossed and that arm snapped. It was disgusting. That's an unfortunate way to go out in front of your home fans, but what can you do? Chepe Mariscal got it done. The other misses, Blood Diamond and Radke, like I said, I wasn't super interested in that one. I just picked Blood Diamond as the dog shot. It was his last shot in the UFC. I thought he was going to come out harder than that. He had the ability to get off the fence, but sometimes it just felt like he waited too long. And then on the feet, it is what it is. It was a toss-up. Blood Diamond was landing some shots. Radke landed the bigger shot, but neither of them were really landing too much. It was just a lot of Radke in the clinch, but he did get it done. Parlay versus Tyson Pedro. I said it in the breakdown. If Parlay could withstand the first round, he was going to be there to gas out Tyson Pedro, push him up against the cage, shoot the takedowns. I was a little surprised he didn't try and clinch or shoot a bit earlier. He was real content to strike early on with Tyson Pedro, and that was his big mistake. Tyson Pedro put him out cold. Tai Tuivasa Volkov. Ty just was not able to get any landing off. It was funny. If you only watch the YouTube video and you don't follow me on Twitter, you're probably like, "What? You picked Volkov?" I had a gut feeling, and sometimes I trust those. And I changed it the day of to Tai Tuivasa. This time it didn't pay off. It's paid off before. This time not so much. So I did end up switching the day of, and Ty was not able to get done. The breakdown of how I predicted Volkov to win was pretty much how it went, but I trusted my gut on that one. It didn't pay off. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then the main event, Israel Adesanya, dethroned. We've got a new middleweight champion, Sean Tarzan Strickland. What a performance from Sean Strickland. I'm an Adesanya fan, but you have to admit that performance was pretty cool to watch. He just stifled everything Izzy threw at him. As he couldn't get her past that, could not get past that defense. Sean Strickland's hand play was fantastic. The guard was great. Like I said, the hand fighting. Just Israel's I'm trying to think, pop shots that the one-off, lean back counter, they just weren't landing. The guard from Strickland was too good. And then we always see that pressure from Strickland, but I was impressed with how patient he was. He wasn't just going in there, throwing a lot of volume like he typically does, eating whatever comes back. Is still blocking a decent amount, but that's typically what he does. He came out, he kept the forward pressure on, and he was patient. He didn't overthrow. He didn't take risks he didn't need to. It was very intelligent, very good game plan. They said the game plan was to wrestle, and he didn't, but just very good instincts from Sean if he went in there and didn't follow the game plan. But I don't know, just a very impressive performance top to bottom from Sean Strickland. Hurt Izzy in the first round and then was just able to keep the pressure throughout the rest. Very impressive. Let's see, so the Savage Rounds parlay this week, I could not believe it didn't hit. We got Ulberg, and then for the life of me, I could not believe the Tai Tuivasa Volkov didn't go under. Volkov had a few shots to get him out of there. He hurt him a few times, but didn't really pounce on anything, and it ended up being fine for him personally. He got the win. Didn't really take too much damage, and it was a good performance for him. He stayed patient and picked the right moments. Was able to find that Ezekiel choke, but I think we were a minute and a half off from the timing. I felt like we were going to get it through the first half and early in the second, but was just not able to find it, so we miss out on this one. So we reset the streak. We almost tied our streak. I thought we were going to go on and beat it this time, but got close, not quite. So we'll restart, get a win next week, and start building that streak up, or get a win this week, I guess. Yeah, we'll pick a better parlay this week and get back on track. Now we've got some awards. Let me see if there are any wins that I want to talk about. No, because I'll talk about this mostly when I get into the awards. The ones I want to talk about, at least. Fight of the night, very obvious. We have to go Manel Kape, Felipe dos Santos. Manel Kape looked really good, obviously. He fights with his hands quite low. He's a hittable guy. He's been able to be hit in other fights, so that was always going to happen. I thought Manel Kape was going to be able to put this guy out pretty early. He almost did. But man, is Felipe dos Santos tough and a game fighter. It was very impressive what he was able to do. Even though, there was never a point where he was really winning the fight as a whole, but it was just those shoot the box guys are so impressive, so tough, and he just kept coming forward. It was a fun fight. Both guys put on a show. Great debut for Felipe dos Santos. Even in a loss, he probably doesn't lose much stock there. Coming in on short notice when he was supposed to be on a Contender Series and fighting the number 10 ranked guy. That's a tough ask, and even in a loss, he showed himself off well. And then performance of the night, I think there were only 2 in real life. I ended up giving out 4. I went with Gabriel Miranda. I felt like that deserved one. That after coming back and doing what he did to Shane, obviously Shane Young's not the level of Benoit Saint Denis, but I was going to say, after getting smoked by Benoit Saint Denis that bad and then coming back and putting on a performance like that, first round, easy domination, submission victory. Good work for Gabriel Miranda. I thought he deserved the 50K bonus. I thought all these guys did. Next up, Tyson Pedro. He didn't get one either, which super surprised me. I thought it was going to be Pedro top of Strickland, but Pedro was kind of left out. It was just, the knockout was sick. He just stayed patient in the first round, waited for that moment to open up, and dropped Turkali and was able to get him out of there. Really good stuff from him. Next up, gotta go with Justin Tafa. He absolutely slept that dude. And then some of the most brutal ground pound I've seen in a minute. He was dribbling his head off the canvas like a basketball. The ref got there a bit slow, so he was able to get a bit of ground and pound off that was probably not needed. But regardless, the knockout was sick. He kind of stunned him with one shot when Lane jumped in, and then Lane backed out from that exchange, and Tafa kind of settled and just threw that overhand left. It was perfect. Sat him down, and like I said, got that brutal ground and pound off. And the last performance of the night bonus is probably the most obvious one. You have to give one to Sean Strickland to win the middleweight belt against possibly the greatest middleweight of all time in a fashion like that. It was extremely impressive. It wasn't like this fight could go either way. It was close. Nobody can yell as he got robbed. It was pure domination from Sean Strickland. It was really, like I said it a few times already, it was really cool to watch. Even though I was sitting there in shock because I wanted Izzy to win. It was just insane to watch that he was doing what he was able to do. And then I've got big winners of the night and some guys that had some tough nights. The winners, I've got 2 with an honorable mention. We're going Carlos Ulberg. The win probably gets him a shot at a ranked opponent, which is a big step up. And if you haven't heard before, the winners are, it could do with the performance. Like if your win garnished you a lot of attention, like, I don't know, the winner could be a few different things. It could be in the cage or out of the cage, just depending on the night. So Ulberg, it has to do with him getting a look at the rankings now, most likely, and then Sean Strickland winning the belt, gaining a lot of fans, and putting on a spectacular performance against the former champion Israel Adesanya. Just a winning night for him all around, no matter how you cut it up. And then I don't put it up there, but the honorable mention is Felipe dos Santos. Even though he didn't win, to come in on short notice like that, fly across the world to Australia on a not many days notice and fight a top 10 contender and put on a show for yourself like that, get 50K with the fight of the night. It was a solid night for him, but I didn't include him. He's the honorable mention. For some guys that had bad nights, it's 3 pretty obvious ones. We're going Shane Young. He's dropped quite a few first round finishes in a row. Where he's the one getting finished, so he just really hasn't been able to get anything going, and he keeps getting finished early in the first round. And he just piled that on, continued it on Saturday. So yeah, bad night number 1. Number 2, Blood Diamond, now 0-3 in the UFC. Hasn't really put on a memorable performance yet. Hasn't really looked great in any of his performances. And that was very possibly the last time we see him in the UFC. He's 3-3 now. I don't know if Dana's really keeping 3-3 fighters like that around, but who knows? It is a city kickboxing guy. Maybe he'll get... I mean, you can't give a 3-3 guy a chance. I don't know, but we'll see. I feel like he's probably done. And then last has to be Israel Adesanya. Whether it has to do with him having an off night, which some people are saying, or Sean Strickland just being that good on the night, which I tend to lean that way. I always tend to give the benefit of the doubt to the guy that put on a great performance. I feel like he was just able to stifle Izzy's skills on the night, and Izzy wasn't able to get anything going. That's why he's in the bad night category. But yeah, there's the recap. We had some interesting fights and some bad fights, but regardless, that's UFC 293. We've got some matchups for you tomorrow. We're going Carlos Ulberg, Tyson Pedro, Justin Tafa, Felipe Dos Santos, Manel Kopp, Tai Tuivasa, Alexander Volkov, Israel Adesanya, and Sean Strickland. Drop back in tomorrow to see the matchups I make. And then if you like this video, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.